Yes, how are you? I hope you've been fine. Welcome to my geometry class. My name is Dr. Joel Musivi, a teacher of mathematics and physics. But now here on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, I'm doing mathematics. Uh, I'm doing geometry, construction of angles, lines, perpendicular bisectors using a ruler and a pair of canvas only. So today we want to look at construction of angle of 30 degrees using a ruler and a pair of canvas only. So in this question, you cannot construct an angle of 30 directly, but remember on the previous section, we saw how to construct an angle of 16 degrees. As you can see, 30 is a half of 60, meaning that if we can construct an angle of 60, then bisect it, we can get an angle of that. So anytime you are given an angle, if you cannot construct it directly, look at it whether it was initially bisected. So now, step number one, we construct an angle of 60. As usual, we will start by any line, construct any line. So just draw a free line like that. Then you want to mark the start point and the end point of the line. So have you constructed the line? If yes, can we mark point P and point Q as the start and the end line of the line? So now open your canvas at any length like this. Then we will make an arc. So make an arc there, and without changing, you also make another arc there. Mark this point P and mark this point Q. Now we can comfortably say we have line PQ. We have line PQ. Make sure you mark yours if you are moving together. We have point PQ. You can choose at any point to construct the angle of 60. You can construct at point P, you can construct at point Q. But I will choose on point P. Remember what we said? We said that to construct an angle of 60, you will stand at point P. You see now? Point P. Then with the point P as the center, you make an arc on the line and another arc on top here. To make those two important arcs, have you made the arc on the line and another one at the top here? Now, using the arc that we've made on the line and without changing the length, now bisect the arc on the top there. Let that point be R. Mark that point to be R. So join P to R. Join P to R using a ruler. So I want to join P to R. Join P to R. Join P to R. So this means RPQ. This is an angle of 16 degrees. RPQ is an angle of 16 degrees. You can confirm using a protractor. You can confirm. You see, that's an angle of 16 degrees. But our question requires us to have an angle of that. Remember, if we divide the 16 by 2, we are going to get that 30. So, to divide this angle of 60 by 2, we do what we call angle bisector. So, we are going to do an angle bisector. To do an angle bisector of 60, I will stand on point P. Are you there on point P? So standing at point P, you'll make an arc on line PR and another arc on line PQ. So let's start on the arc on line PR. So I make that arc on line PR. Then another arc on line PQ without changing this radius. You don't change this radius. I also make an arc there. So I have this arc and this arc. Have you made the two arcs? Then go to the arc on line PQ. Standing there. Then in between Q and R, you make an arc here, like that. Make an arc there, using the arc on line PQ. Then come to the arc on line PR without changing this radius. If you change this radius of the canvas, this will mess you up. You also cross like that. Then let that point be point F, where those two arcs meet. So if you have crossed those two arcs, now you can join them to P. Join them to P. Join them to P like that. You join them to P. This means that you have bisected the angle of 60. So this becomes an angle of 30 degrees. And this other one is an angle of 30 degrees. Can you confirm using protractor whether those angles are 30 degrees? So look at that. Look at that. Look at where the perpendicular bisector passes from the stretch of line FPQ is 30, and the remaining FPR is also 30, because from 30 to 60 is an angle of 30, and this one is another angle of 30 degrees. Thank you very much. You are always welcome to my channels. Follow as I help you to do geometry. My name is Dr. Joel Musivi. Follow my channels at Dr. Joel Musivi on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Remember to subscribe and follow, share, like, and comment. Thank you.